Well, hello. Welcome to the Cigar Professor. We are week 8 of pack 9, powering our way through. We've had some wonderful trips down memory lane in the last couple of weeks. We've done some wonderful repeats of cigars that we've had in earlier packs. Let's not forget the Cigar Professor is now approaching 2.5 years old. We're well and truly past our second birthday. So some of the cigars that Damo ordered really early on, even 6 months before we started, we've revisited those same cigars from those same shipments with the extra age on them, and we've loved it. But today is a comparison of a slightly different kind. One of the absolute gems that Damo has unearthed over the course of the Cigar Professor was a thing called the Nasty Fritas, also known as a smoke bomb. You could literally use that on the battlefield to screen the movements of your infantry if you wanted to. That thing is absolutely nuts. And it's a really unique vitola. It's this pyramid vitola with a little twist pigtail at the top and a closed foot and all sorts of things that you would think you would never be able to find in any other cigar. Well, it turns out that flattery, imitation truly is the sincerest form of flattery. And someone has decided to try and repeat the formula, only do better, at least in their opinion. It's up to us to decide if they're right. This looks very familiar. It's a pyramid. It's got a pigtail. It's got a closed foot. It is also still a smoke bomb, but this is an entirely different cigar to the Nasty Fritas. This is this week's cigar, the Crazy Alice. Now, I'm not going to say any more about it because I'll be stealing other people's thunder, because joining me, as always, on the show is none other than the man responsible for this interesting little stick being in the pack. Professor Damo, how are you?
Not too bad. And this stick does have quite the interesting story. So,
well, look, I look forward to hearing it because I've got to say there's some conflicting information online about this cigar.
Yes.
I saw some people claiming that it's a Maduro wrapper. I believe that that's incorrect, and it is in fact a Connecticut Broadleaf. I've seen.
Interestingly enough, the official standpoint is that it is secret.
I see, hence the differences.
The only thing they tell you is it's from Nicaragua.
Okay. I've heard people claim that it is infused, like what the Acid series from Drew Estate are, and no, even just from the aroma, I can get why someone would think that.
Yep.
You know, I can get why you would
go. You can get that. There's like a sweet floral incense sort of note on there.
Yeah, like a musk. I'm getting a real sort of sweet musk. So I can see why someone would think that, but apparently it is absolutely not infused. And is in fact very much a natural cigar, and supposedly one of their most high quality lines. And speaking of high quality,
well, I was going to say, speaking of infused.
Yeah, well, do we want to keep this show high quality, or do we want to invite Omar on? That's the question, really.
That is a tough one. It really is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, he's here. He's sitting backstage.
We've got to have our tokened equality,
our diversity hype. But you know what? Actually, you know what? I'm just thinking it through. He makes us look really good, so we probably should have him on. That's right. Just to stroke our own egos. So, Omar, how are you?
All right, Topher.
I'm doing well.
When you, I was giggling at what you were saying. When was the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror?
Look, some of us, unlike you, don't just stand there all day gazing into our own eyes. Like, it's just, that's not a thing that everyone does. However, also not a thing that everyone does is have a pre-Cigar Professor cigar.
Sorry.
You appear to be sucking on a juicy little nub there.
No, it's actually not. No, it's one of the Perdomos. Obviously, don't keep the band. It's in the final legs.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, we have to light this one up. And I was actually, obviously, we've got to cut it first, a straight cut for this. I'm looking at this, thinking I'm actually going to light it with
sweet and tipped.
It's definitely sweet. Is it? It's got something sweet in it.
Sweet and tipped. You taste that tip.
Okay. Well, that'd be why people are claiming that it's an infused cigar. It's a sweetened cigar.
And I think it's from looking at the wrapper, it's not a broadleaf. Broadleaf is very rougher type of wrapper. This is more of a Maduro from Nicaragua, because broadleafs they tend to be very rough type of wrappers.
Okay, that is very much a sweetened tip, without question. You've got the heat gun again.
Well, you said I haven't done anything different in a long time, so I thought, stuff it,
true.
I'm bringing the heat gun back out again.
It's true. Speaking of people doing something different, Tim is actually saying he's going to be nice to me.
Oh, wow.
That's different.
Why?
I'm confused as well, but that's what he said.
So just so everybody knows, this here is a hot air gun that they use for unsoldering microchips and components off circuit boards, like when they're repairing computers and phones and tablets and stuff like that. I've just got it set to the lowest fan setting and the maximum heat setting. And look, you can already, I don't know if you can quite see, but it's already starting to smoke here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're getting that.
Good job, David.
Wow, that is very sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely infused with something.
Yeah. So whoever said it wasn't was clearly wrong.
Yeah.
Now that I'm tasting that,
this is definitely infused with something.
Sweetened for sure.
I'm going to say that it is sweetened but not infused.
Okay. So you mean dipped?
So what they do is when they actually glue the layers down, they actually mix sugar in with the glue. So that's where we're getting the sweetness from. But I'm not perceiving anything on the smell of the burning tobacco other than the sweetness on the palate.
There's something on the wrapper as well, for sure. There's something on the wrapper. Whether it's infused or dipped, there's something on the wrapper.
It honestly, it's taken me back to some of those the cigars that I smoked back when I was smoking infused cigars. It really has that same kind of sense. Or you get something like an acid blondie. Yeah. It's got exactly that same sense. Yes, interesting. I'm going to join the camp that is questioning the manufacturer's claim that it is not in fact infused. It's certainly been treated with something.
Even the wrapper smells very distinctively of a specific kind of,
Well, it's a musk. It's an incredibly sugary aroma, on a cold aroma. Not so much now that it's burning. Damo's right. The foot smoke doesn't have that same sense to it. But on the tip of the tongue,
you just got to smell the wrapper.
Yeah, you smell the wrapper before we lit it up. I mean, it was just as clear as day. I will say good smoke production.
Yeah, very good.
A little bit of a dryness, a little bit of a back of the throat dryness in the burn. But I find that quite a lot when a cigar is sweetened, when a cigar is flavored like this.
Yeah. What's for the drinks, boys?
I've just got a sugar-free cola.
Because there's enough sugar in the cigar already.
That's right.
For me, just a black tea. I'm just being boring this week.
Nice.
Black tea. Keep it simple.
Yep.
I thought it would pair well with this cigar, but I probably should have gone with like Fanta or something.
Nah, dude. Can't do that.
I mean, this is pitched as a competitor to the Nasty Fritas, but it's clearly
well, it's actually made by Drew Estate.
Well, it's made by Drew Estate as well, yes, in partnership with
Deadwood Tobacco Company in South Dakota.
Yes, that's the one.
So the interesting thing is when Jonathan Drew started his tobacco company and started making these different than usual cigars, he was struggling to find anyone to jump on board with such unique cigars. Yeah. Anyway, Deadwood Tobacco Company were one of about 14 companies that did jump on board with him.
Sure.
And sort of led to his success. And then later down the track, they decided to partner in making their own blend in this particular one. And originally, this cigar was not named Crazy Alice. It was originally named Three Yummy Bitches.
Huh.
Well, I'm going to correct you slightly there. There were 3 different cigars, each of which was one of the Yummy Bitches.
Yeah, and it was a little
pack.
box pack. Yeah.
Now they sell them individually, and there is in fact a 4th Yummy Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Anyway, they do claim that this particular blend is not infused, so to speak, but carries a different flavor profile that you are probably not used to.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
No kidding.
That's what they officially claim.
Tim is having difficulty keeping his new episode resolution already. I can't blame you, Tim. I'm an easy target. Like, seriously. How could you hold back?
I can see that.
It's hard to pick it with the sweetness there, isn't it? That's what it's
I've got to be honest, it's kind of masking all the other flavors.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, really, and this is why I ultimately moved away. I mean, as a beginner smoker, like most beginner smokers, I was smoking infused cigars, dipped cigars, all that sort of stuff. And then as your palate develops and you start to be able to distinguish flavors and discern what's good and what's not, you very quickly realize that the reason they're dipping these cigars or infusing these cigars is because the tobacco itself is rubbish. And so you move on to better quality tobacco and end up where Omar is, where he's injecting tobacco into his veins to get out of bed in the morning. So that's sort of the journey. But I've got to say, this one here, again, it feels as though it's masking harsh tobacco.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if that's just because of how sweet it is on the tip of the tongue, makes the aroma seem harsh and makes the flavor seem harsh.
Or vice versa.
And it's just the juxtaposition of the two, or if it actually really is. But it's... Yeah.
I agree, Topher. I think I think the smell out of the wrapper is not like this tobacco has not been interfered with. All tobaccos are interfered with, but this is to another level.
Yeah. It smells like the bank rollies in the foot smoke. Yeah, it's we're all about being honest here on the Cigar Professor. This is they do actually claim in the literature that this is super high quality tobacco. I dispute that.
Yeah. I totally dispute that.
Yeah.
It's like colds have hormone-free beef, no added hormone.
Yeah.
And it's like a clever way of saying, motherfucker, it was done not by me. I didn't add anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was done through the food, not with injections or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
A lot of smoke production for sure.
A lot of smoke production.
Yeah.
And I'm not finding it unpleasant. I'm going to damn with faint praise here. I'm not finding it unpleasant. I'm finding it actually a little bit intriguing. I'm kind of curious to see what happens as the ring gauge decreases and the wrapper therefore becomes a more and more dominant part of the flavor profile. So I'm curious. I'm interested. I'm happy to keep on going. But I got to say, they really talk this cigar up in their literature, and I'm not seeing why.
Yeah.
And by American standards, it's not particularly cheap either.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a solid mid-range stick price-wise, despite being smaller than most of your American sticks.
$8.35.
Yeah,
US.
I mean that's actually pushing the high end for such a small stick, especially
for such a small stick. Yes.
Yeah, and they talk a big game online, but
just a game, a lot of that.
Yeah, I reckon. Are you drinking soft drink out of an espresso martini glass?
No, I don't drink soft drinks.
Oh, what are you drinking there?
stuff. You know, it's gotta go heavy duty sometime in life.
Who are you and Robin Vale? Goodness. I used to love that.
They fermented some strawberries this time.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I used to get their stuff. Now it's just too sweet. I just can't do it.
Let's go 80% water with ice.
Yeah, okay. So it's a cordial. Yeah, that'd work actually. That'd be all right. Yeah, the strawberry one, I remember the strawberry one especially was incredibly intense.
Definitely a lot of smoke coming out of this.
Really good smoke production. I could see how logically they would arrive at this location. They're like, hey, the Nasty Fritas is done really well. Let's do our own interpretation on that. You know, but obviously it's got to be different. It's it's coming from the same company. They're not just going to release the same exact cigar. It's got to be different. It's obviously a different wrapper. I would say everything different filler, different binder. They've got this sweetened tip at the very least. Who knows what else they've done to it?
Well, this is the rumors. This
Right.
is the rumors. Brazilian wrapper, Indonesian binder, Nicaraguan fillers.
Yeah, right.
No substance. I'm not going to claim that's true. That's just some of what's rumored.
It could be. It's just not a broadleaf for sure. The wrapper is not broadleaf.
Okay.
Brazilian Maduro.
It's the Mexican and Brazilian type of wrapper. Very similar.
Mine's burning fairly fast, but that might be the way I'm smoking it.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I'm a bit further through.
Yeah.
The Nasty Fritas burn down quickly, then slow down from memory. So
yeah, you end up with a really good burn time on those.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced I'll have that on this. Good construction though. Let's start looking at some of the things I have done well. Beautiful construction. My light actually wasn't perfect. I was lighting it with a match rather than a jet lighter, so it was a little bit wonky right off the get-go. It's corrected itself, and now beautiful razor sharp burn. The wrapper binder combination is nice and thick. You can see a shoulder there at the burn line, stacking dimes in the ash. Like this, the construction's really, really nice. I just wish they'd constructed it out of better tobacco. Cigar Man Sam, how are you?
Hey, mate.
Always a pleasure to see you join us. Getting mixed reviews of this cigar. This is not going to be a contender for the cigar of the pack. I can tell you that already.
Nah, definitely not.
Can I put it down?
They lied to you, Damo?
Sorry?
I said they lied to you, Damo, on the reviews.
Look, it's so mixed. It's, you know, it's just one of those mixed bag cigars where you've got your equal camps of haters and lovers, you know. So,
well, it's why the cigar professor is here. We give it a go. We make up our own minds.
That's exactly right.
And the thing was that it's made by the same people that make the Nasty Fritas. It's the same vitola as the Nasty Fritas, and it has, at least to a degree, been based off the Nasty Fritas and just been reinterpreted. So
yeah, I see that.
Optimism.
Yes. It's a fair reason for that. It's certainly a reason for that.
Well, I can tell you already, I'd be reaching for the Nasty Fritas every single time, which is not an insult because that is a particularly good cigar.
It's a very good cigar.
See, I find the Nasty Fritas a nice sweet smoke anyway.
Very oily.
And I'm wondering whether part of the thought process behind it is, well, let's amp up the sweetness of the cigar and just sort of really play with the intensifying some of the flavors that is unique in that particular cigar and take it to the next level. So look, there's not a lot of information about how they went about making this cigar and what thought process went into it or anything like that. It's just, you know, this is our secret Our secret blend.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you think what's the reasoning behind making a blend secret? I assume it's marketing.
Yeah. I guess it's like KFC's secret herbs and spices.
No, it's the way it's cooked.
Yeah, it has to be marketing to create a hype about it.
Yeah. Okay. It's settling down now. The sweetness on the lips has died down. I think it's kind of been worn off. I'm starting to actually get some flavor of the tobacco now. I'm going to say I'm in a campfire type zone. There's a charcoal, a little bit of sharpness in the charcoal. It's not that barbecue roasty sort of charcoal. It's a charred charcoal. Leather. Quite
Wood.
hard old leather.
It's got some wood in it too.
More oak with the wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a muskiness. That muskiness that you could detect on the wrapper is in there as
Comes
well.
off the wood, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're actually finally able to taste the cigar. Stuart says, thumbs up. I find it to be sweet as. I like it. That's fair, Stuart, because you're still, relatively new in the cigar world. And, I was smoking sweetened cigars for probably 2 years before I kind of went, oh, that's a bit much. So enjoy it, Stuart, while it lasts. There's no shame in that. You enjoy what you enjoy what works for your tastes. So I'm glad you're enjoying this one.
Obviously, I have to confess, this is my first cigar. I'm new to the cigar journey, so I'm kind of pleasantly enjoying it, boys.
Yeah. No, we know you're a bit of a rookie, but we let you on the show anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely getting that leather.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a leather that's got to the point where it's starting to crack.
Yep.
Yes. It's got definitely woodiness. I don't know if that's a profile that we smell, but embriness with the musk. It's a very embry, sweety musk in it, which is coming from the wrapper itself.
That's the real reason we have Omar on the show, is because he has to make up for the fact that I don't have any facial hair.
Topher. There are a lot of things missing in you as a man, but hey, you're not going to get into that. We're just going to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Tim is not happy about this, man. Tim is not happy, dude.
Tim fires back.
Shit.
Now, they said earlier that they're actually sitting next to each other having tonight's cigar. So they're just like an old married couple at opposite ends of the couch, passive aggressively sending, texts to each other.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Damo seems to be choking, apparently.
Earlier, he had a little cough. I think he retrohaled wrong.
Well, I actually tried to laugh and inhale at the same time, and that doesn't work.
doesn't work well. Yeah. Tim,
Don't crack a joke while you're trying to suck on a cigar.
Tim makes a good point. Married couples at least used to like each other. So, no, they're not like a married couple at all. You're right.
One good thing about this shape of cigar is the bands always come off so easily.
Yeah, 100%. And I do find the journey interesting, even if the tobacco itself may not lend a lot of journey to a pyramid. Same as a double perfecto, or these ones where there is a really dramatic change in ring gauge. it just introduces the opportunity for some journey.
Yeah.
Beautiful veins in the wrapper that are just showing up as clear as day in the ash. Look at that, just lovely.
Where? I can't see it.
You need to get your eyes checked, mate.
The one thing that I am
Oh yeah.
noticing too is the amount of foot smoke that's still coming off the foot while you're drawing in.
I nearly commented on that earlier.
You don't get that often in a cigar.
No, and I was trying to think why.
And I wonder if
you're
it's
drawing the
natural
air in, but there's so much oil, and it's such a this blend is obviously closely related to the Nasty Fritas brand, which is a really deep, oily blend of tobacco. And I've always made the comment: I've had a Nasty Fritas, I've put it down, walked away, and come back well over 5 minutes, somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes later, picked it up, and it's still perfectly lit. So I don't think necessarily cheap, crappy tobacco would have the burn characteristics that we're seeing in this cigar either.
No, and once we got into that middle third, and I started to be able to actually taste the tobacco, the blend does speak of certainly Mexican or Brazilian tobacco in there. Indonesian's not a surprise. It's certainly not an all Nicaraguan or an all Dominican cigar. The flavor profile is really quite different from that. But now that we're in the middle third, or I'm almost in the middle of the cigar, it does taste better.
It's got a little bit of spice in there as well.
It is.
Yeah, a little bit. It's starting to come through for me. I wasn't detecting it earlier, but it's starting to come through for me.
But the previous comment from Demo, I would say this, Demo, in terms of cigar and the tobacco, what goes in a cigar, smoke production doesn't necessarily equate up to a cheap or expensive tobacco. You have some very premium cigars and have very little smoke production. The quality of leaf not always adds up to being an expensive or inexpensive. It's just a type. And I would really question what they do to make it smoke that much as well. Because some of the most premium cigars don't do that. The most premium cigars I've ever smoked in my life, in the excess of $400 or $500, Cubans, nor Cubans, would never do that.
The thought crossed my mind with the Nasty Fritas is there something that doesn't have flavor, because we didn't detect any dipped flavors or infused flavors or anything, but is there a treatment, a dip of some sort or something like that they're actually doing? They just dip it in petrol before they ship it. I don't know, but something's making it smoke.
Topher, the fact of the matter is that all cigars are treated, even the most natural organic cigars are treated with something. There's a human interference in that. But this is a little bit extra on top.
Sure.
Yeah.
Leaf by Oscar Sumatra, very good stick. It's doing the foot smoke as well. There you go.
There you go. It's a beautiful cigar, that one. It's an absolutely gorgeous stick.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
It's a good thing you got the glue, Stuart. It's a good thing you've got the glue.
Yeah, one of the best tools.
Yeah.
That and the perfect draw.
Yeah. When I first hit... your ash dropped, yeah. I've still got mine. I know. Omar, you've still got yours?
Nah, dropped a while ago.
Well, there you go. I think we have an undisputed ash champion this week. I wasn't even thinking about it.
See if you can match my effort from last week.
Well, I'm not going to, because it's a pyramid. It's not going to stay the whole way. That's just fantasy. I am going to end up wearing this ash at some point in time, but I'm just going to hold it up here so you can all
We were
admire
sick and tired of you hearing not burning well, this is missing, this has been freaking 3 years in making, dude. It's about time.
I'm sure I've won the ash challenge at least once before in the last 2.5 years.
You dream a lot. I get that. You like that, huh?
Yeah, it's true. I do dream a lot, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened. I'm not going to go back and watch the back catalogue to prove it, though. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of transition in the flavors as yet.
No,
Yeah.
I would say the charring flavor has died down for me.
Roger.
There's a vegetative note coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly clean. Not a celery. More of a rhubarb, I think. There's a bit more of a twist to it, a bit more of a sourness to it.
Yeah, and it's got a touch of spice there as well.
Yeah, there is definitely that touch of spice that Damo mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Got to say, it is a lovely ash.
I'm getting that vegetative note just now.
Yeah. It's a really pretty ash, guys. You should have a good look at your ash and just the way it's all stacked. Oh no, sorry guys. Yeah, okay. Well, you just have to admire mine. And I do just want to draw attention to the fact that some of us don't feel the need to hold the cigar vertical in order to get the ash to stay on.
Yeah.
We're just a bit more honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's good that it happened to you. Otherwise, you would have just died wondering, dude. That's okay. I'm happy for you. It's okay.
Pretty sure we all die wondering about something, but I won't be wondering about that at the very least.
Yeah. Anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. We signed that off. That's good.
Yeah.
Can't pick the vegetative note though.
Yeah, look, for me, it's a rhubarb. I'm getting deeper into it. It's becoming more pronounced, and I'm pretty happy with that description. Are we racing to see who can finish first? Well, mine's certainly burning pretty fast. What are we? We're 25, just over 25 minutes of actual burn.
Yeah.
I'll be lucky to get 45 out of this.
Yeah. I'm looking at, I think, about 45.
Yeah.
Just under an hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
max.
And I mean, I'm trying to leave
It
it.
is
I'm
a
trying to
small
let it
light
sit.
stick though.
Sorry?
Yeah.
It is a small light
You gotta
stick.
be fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for that. It's really good for that.
And it just doesn't have the amount of oil that the Nasty Fritas has. That's where the burn time comes from on that stick. Is just so much oil in that cigar. And I just don't think this has the same.
It's really cool to see a cigar burn so well. Whether it's someone did something, but it's really cool.
There's been a few rings in that.
It's been a few, yeah. Yeah, I did a really good one earlier, pretty much straight at the camera. I was just waiting for someone to say something. You both just pretended it never happened. Thanks, guys.
Poor Topher, man.
I was waiting for Omar to say something.
Everyone's against him. The whole world is against Topher.
That's what makes it fun for both of us.
Yeah.
Let me guess. He lit the wrong end.
Hey, I got tickets to the Dr. McCullough coming into Sydney.
Nice. I'll be there in Melbourne. Should be good.
Are you going, Omar?
Nah, dude. It's not. He's good. I mean, I've listened to him a bunch of times. And if I don't see a value in making a journey there, $100, he's good. I appreciate what he does. But yeah.
That's in reference to Stuart Wright lighting the wrong end. He said, not this time.
He's done it before.
I've done it deliberately on occasion. If I cut and the tobacco all around the mouth just all splits and goes nasty. I can't be bothered gluing it and dealing with all of that. I'm just like, nah.
Started the other way.
Started the other way. And you know what? I've done it maybe a grand total of 3 times in my life, but on no occasion have I done it and thought, oh no, I've ruined this cigar. It's always smoked fine. The flavors are a bit different, because you're starting with the heavier, stemmier part of the cigar, but it's fine.
So I've got a dilemma.
What's that?
I'm not even joking, and I'm feeling very bad. Like, I don't usually feel bad about a mate doing something good or whatever. Boys, this is a true story. It happened in the last 3-4 hours today. Okay?
Still not sure if I trust you.
I promise.
Still not sure if there's a punchline coming.
When I say the word promise, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Mate of mine is in Queensland. He's a cigar professor subscriber.
Okay.
His name is Robbie. Or Rabs.
Sure.
He was in a cigar bar called The Index. It's a one hell of a gorgeous place, right? Amazing place. Been there before. I mean, look at the photos and all that. They have probably the largest collection I've ever seen in Australia, online anyway.
Yeah, right.
He said to me, "What do you want?" He said to me, "What do you want?" And I'm like,
everything.
Nah. Like, look, he's such a guy that he's giving me. Once he gave me 2 boxes of White Churchills. Like, he's that good to me. Like, that's nice. 2 boxes at a given
it's
time.
amazing.
That's beautiful. He goes to me, "What do you want?" I'm like, the only cigar in the Cuban cigar thing I haven't smoked, and I heard the most about it, and everyone brags about it. It's called Cohiba 1966 Limitada, 2011. Sure. When it came out, it was $300 stick US. But now it's got sold for $999.
Yeah, wow.
And I sent him the photo of that. And I thought, sure enough, he's not going to do it. And then he done it. And I feel it got me like a bunch of other six too, but like, why would you do that? I feel so bad.
All right. So let's think this through.
I honestly feel really bad for one stick.
I can fix this. When he gives it to you,
yep,
package it up really carefully and send it to me.
Done.
Okay.
I can't promise what I'm going to send it to you. What would be in the pack? Could be the ash with that bit of a wrapper on it.
Preferably before you've smoked it.
Yeah. And the band, so you know it was a 1966 Cohiba 2011 Limitada.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I'm being completely honest. I feel really bad. It's just $1,000 a stick is just not fair. And he's not like a millionaire or anything.
Sure. But he also bought you other stuff as well. So
yes, he always does.
It's not like he was sitting there going, well, I was going to spend $200 and now I'm going to spend $1,000, but that's it. Like he's then gone above and beyond.
I think I know where he's coming from in all this. I think I know.
Tell me.
He knows how dependent you are on me providing you with sticks. And it's not that he feels sorry for you. He actually feels sorry for me. And he's trying to take some of the load off me.
No. I thought like for $1,000 a stick, get me a box of something for half the price, for goodness sake.
It came out of your mouth, buddy.
I know. And I was just geeing him up. I was just joking. Anyway.
Well, I guess you're just going to have to live the rest of your life feeling bad.
I'm telling you, it's too much.
Getting a little bit of a licorice note in there as well.
Yep.
I was about to say I feel like it's just turned, but it's sort of not quite there yet. It's not ready to turn, but it's come through with a really strong aniseed, licorice, black spice kind of a turn.
And there's a little bit, that finish, instead of being leathery, it's almost got a little bit of dark chocolate and coffee in the finish.
Yeah.
It's still leathery, but it's like leather with a sprinkle of chocolate and coffee.
Cigar Man Sam insists that somewhere there is a human inside of Omar. I'm going to have to take your word for it. Because, you know, I haven't seen it yet, but, you know, maybe one day.
Yeah. You have to be a human to know one. So you got no chance.
Stuart suggests you got to smoke it with him.
I'm not sure about that.
What if it's plugged?
I could smoke something like that with Damo, maybe. Cigar Man Sam, that's a crew. But Topher, not you.
No. I think he's saying you got to smoke that cigar with the dude that bought it for you. I think is what he's saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would actually share it with him.
What if it's plugged?
Dude, I've learned to work with cigars, and that Cigar Man Sam was like that. And I used to get frustrated, but he can literally work with any cigar. And he has a saying that he says there are no bad cigars. Some are challenging, some are less challenging. But as much as you guys know how much I dislike or hate Cuban cigars, but when they're on, there's nothing like it.
Oh no argument from me.
Like it.
No argument from me.
Yeah, nothing like it. You got 1% or 5% or 10%. That is, I go, oh my God, that's why I smoke a cigar.
Yeah, no,
you know,
100%. It would be interesting to actually brainstorm, and probably tonight's not the night for it, but to brainstorm non-Cuban cigars that even come close. Not better. I'm not saying better, but have you ever had a non-Cuban cigar that, in my case, it would be, have I ever had a non-Cuban cigar that competes with the best Wide Churchill I've had? That'd be my reference point, right? Because a good Wide Churchill, there's just nothing else like it. What else comes close? Like
I'm in general fan of RJs. They're limitadas, and the Damo, we had one with Damo 2008, phenomenal. What you had two with Cigar Man Sam, that was 2011 limitadas. Like, they are just super amazing sticks. There aren't many super amazing sticks in Cubans. There aren't many.
No. And in a weird way, the inconsistency becomes part of the allure.
Yes.
There's that pulling the lever on the side of the slot machine. You don't know what you're going to get.
You know what you're going to get. Look, I think you go at the top end. So if you go RJ 1, 2, or 3 or whatever, you're going to get. But once you start hitting Wide Churchills or anything with a Churchill, for example, in RJ, you are better. Most likely to get a good stick.
I have had some dogs. I have, but you're right. Your hit rate's much better.
Hit rate's much better. And they're very expensive. They are stupidly expensive.
The human inside of Omar is Tim Molesworth.
Topher, you have to put a Cigar Man Sam just wanted some brownie points, so let's give it to him. He's coming up there.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, this one. No, this.
Yes. No, you mean Stuart?
No, the Cigar Man Sam, the one before.
Okay. Yep.
So there's a story behind it. I'm going to quickly tell you. Sure. The guy went overseas, blah blah blah. He comes back, and I've been looking for a while. I don't spend a lot of money on accessories and stuff. I'm looking for a while for a black leather pouch, right? For my accessories. I wanted to be specific. I wanted something little. I think he heard me whine and moan and bitch about this. This size is not right. The leather is not right. He comes back with the Louis Vuitton case. Yeah. I'm like, dude, this is not my style. I'm not a brand person. I'm a simple man. I'm not a brand person. So he did embarrass me. And at one point I did want to take it, but the love he presents with it is just like, and with the ring, with the, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's the story he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, no, when someone puts thought into it,
he's a Versace type guy, Omar.
Yeah.
I really thought it was Dolce & Gabbana, to be honest.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I'm a no brand dude. I'm a no
or maybe these days it's Balenciaga.
whatever he says goes. Yeah, but that was like, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what exactly are you doing?
I'm
I'm glad I read that before I took a puff on this cigar.
see, that's a response to this comment here. It's Tim Molesworth, the human inside Omar. And I was going to say, I'm going to need a diagram to understand how that works.
Yeah.
But now that I've got some more perspective on what we're talking about here, I don't need the diagram. Okay. You can just, I don't need the diagram.
Oh, shit. I think the boys don't want to risk maybe an inside use. That'd be a bit dangerous.
I think the boys are having a little bit too much fun hanging out with each other and getting stuck into the, what was the drink? The wild turkey.
The wild turkey. It's getting wild there.
Well, Tim would like to believe he has a wild turkey, but that thing is a coward turkey. So I visited Tim at his farm, and my toy poodle, I was going to say my dog, but Tim refuses to acknowledge that it is actually a dog. My toy poodle ended up chasing his turkey that is at least 5 times its weight around, and that turkey was running like a little bitch.
Ooh.
So definitely not a wild turkey, that one.
Damn.
All right, getting really hot on the fingers. I'm right down on the business end now.
You go real fast, huh?
It's gone pretty quick. It's gone squishy, and it's getting hot and hard to hold.
Oh, Damon, what you dropping, dude?
I'm trying to open my little travel box one-handed because I'm contemplating.
You're going to give it a go, are you?
I am.
All right. I decided against it. Cigar Man Sam asks, is this weather making the cigars burn fast? I just feel like there was less in this cigar. I think this is just this cigar. 40 to 45 minutes if you push it.
Yes.
I'm saying it's going to be about a 45-minute stick.
Yeah, you guys will get just a couple minutes more than me. I'm about to put it down.
45.
The flavors have become quite harsh. The that charcoal has sort of come back, and the charcoal mixed with the licorice, not a particularly pleasant mix right at the end there.
Yeah, I hear you, Topher.
Well, there you go. Not a contender for top 3 of the pack for me.
Certainly not.
No. Not terrible.
I'd probably smoke it again.
You would?
I think I would. If it was there and it was offered, I'd do it.
I wouldn't refuse it.
Do it to any cigar for that matter.
Yeah, I wouldn't refuse it, but
I never refuse a cigar.
Yeah, of course not. You have to be stupid to refuse a cigar.
Yeah. If I was buying, I'd always find something else to buy in preference to
the
this.
Question would be then, well, that would you buy it again?
I'd be interested in exploring some of the other Deadwood tobacco range to see what their interpretations of the Drew Estate range is like. Are they all like this, or is it just this particular one?
Yeah, but this particular, you wouldn't be in rush to buy this again, would you?
Well, look, they say that this is a fusion interpretation of the Liga Privada, which is the Nasty Fritas, the Undercrown, and the acids all roll into, and the naturals, Drew Estate naturals. So it's a take of all 4 lines, those 4 lines of Drew Estate cigars rolled into one stick.
Got it. And saying that, and also saying that, Topher, absolutely no disrespect to this cigar. There are some people like these type of smokes.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't say it's not a premium cigar. It's not rolled well. It's rolled well. Smoke production. Everything is tick, 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 tick.
Yep. Just the flavor profile's not to my taste.
I'd take this over an acid.
I would take it over an acid.
Yeah, I'll
Yep.
take it over.
Yep. I would actually take it, and Damo's going to hate me for this. I would take it over a nub, the espresso infused nubs.
Yeah.
I would actually take it over that.
I'm with you. Topher, I'm with you. Not many times I would say that. I'm with you on that.
So, Cigar Man Sam, I think you're absolutely right. This calls for a second cigar tonight. However, I did explain last week that I had run into a bit of a problem, and that is that I'm out of cigars. I'm not Omar. I still have the cigars for the rest of the pack. They're quarantined to one side. I'm not touching those. But my humidor is otherwise empty, with the exception of the one cigar that I'm keeping for when Nicolas Maduro is murdered or thrown out of power to celebrate for the people of Venezuela. But I did, however, discover that I, in fact, had one cigar left.
Yeah.
An incredibly exciting moment. And I think you're right, Cigar Man Sam. I think I'm just going to light it up tonight and have something different on the palate when I go to sleep tonight. So I want to share with you this incredibly exciting discovery. It's huge. It's just like, I was so excited when I was like, oh man, I've still got one of these. It's
that's massive.
Yeah.
It's like what, double as a Churchill Gordo?
It's look, the camera really doesn't do it justice. It's the woody.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have that, are you?
Oh, look, there's no need for me to be in bed before midnight, so I might light it up and just have a long one.
That's a 3-hour smoke. That's a 3-hour smoke.
Easy.
Easy.
So for those of you that are wondering,
I've known guys that have got 7 hours plus out of a woody.
Good.
Yeah.
No Monica Lewinsky jokes allowed. So this is in fact the El Rey del Mundo, which is a Cuban
gorgeous,
beautiful little stick. Beautiful little stick, and I'm going to have this to cleanse the palate of that one, because that wasn't, especially towards the end, I smoked it too far, and that final flavor profile was left a little bit to be desired.
Ava, what are you going to have?
Well, I've got a choice of 2 cigars immediately. Yep. Well, actually, I've got a choice of thousands of cigars just upstairs.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah.
Immediately within my reach, I do have a Nasty Fritas.
Oh, hello.
So, and I've also got a Perdomo firecracker here.
Oh, man.
But I've had a few of those in the last few weeks, so maybe I'll light up the Nasty Fritas.
I reckon a back-to-back with the Nasty Fritas would be really interesting.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
So Stuart's got an El Rey del
Mundo. What I'm finding with the cigar is if you actually really let it cool down between puffs, the flavour is not too bad right down to the very business end.
Okay, yep. It was starting to burn my fingers, so I was kind of just doing that sort of hurry up and finish it thing. So I may have overheated it right towards the end.
Yeah, they look with a lot of markers, combustion, it's built, it's burn, it's tick all the boxes, right? It ticks all the boxes, and the flavor profile is such a personal thing, and I think there will be people with dying for that.
Yeah,
100%.
So this is interesting. This is actually picked up a little bit of a pickled type of aroma as time has gone on.
When was the last time you cleaned your nose?
I pick my nose every 5 minutes or so. So
not doing a good job, I'm saying.
Well, and obviously you have to
he's
eat
got
it.
He's got to grow his fingernail on his pinky.
That's,
yeah.
Get a bit deeper. But you have to keep tabs with the flavor and the journey as the flavors change. So you've got to make sure you eat it every time.
David, what do you think I should smoke?
What have you got?
Are you just? I got a bunch of things. Not a lot. I got singles. A lot of singles left.
Well, I think I'm at the point where I'm going to say thank you to this.
Yeah,
so that's about 50 minutes for me.
Yeah, pretty much.
About that for me too. About 50 minutes.
Which, considering how light a stick it is as well, is
not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
All right. Busting out.
Let me go get a stick. I'll be back, boys.
Look what you started, Cigar Man Sam.
He knew Omar couldn't say no to a Another stick.
An excuse for another one.
Well, since I lit that one up this way, I might as well do this one as well. So it's got temperature gauge on it. Don't know if you can...
Oh, yeah. Quickly climbing.
Yep, wait till it hits peak temperature of 480 degrees.
Ouch. Don't use it to burn out your nasal hairs.
It is a very pleasant way to light up a stick. It spares a lot of the harshness that you normally get. And the good thing is, too, the wind blowing out really gets the tobacco lit up quite nicely as well. So you got the benefit of heating it with the wind to sort of fan the cherry into life, and a gentle heat, which is actually much more gentle than the butane flame.
Yeah, it would be, because I mean 480 degrees is still quite a lot cooler than the either a cigar lighter or a cigarette lighter or a match.
So I am getting that musky note that the other one had.
Yep, you will. I got to tell you right off the bat, you can just tell that this is better quality tobacco straight away. The flavors are just so much better integrated, so much smoother.
That leather note that we were picking up off the Crazy Alice is also in here as well.
I can't help but feel like they got it right first time.
Yeah. You can see the similarities between the two, back to back.
Yeah. To what degree, though, is your palate being affected by the fact that you've just had the other?
There's a bit of that, but I'm also, like, I took a few sips of my drink between to try and cleanse the palate as well, so...
Yeah, okay.
Probably a little bit more foot smoke coming off the Crazy Alice as well. No,
You
sorry,
reckon?
Nasty Fritas.
Right, okay, that's what I would have expected, yeah. It's been a little while since I've had one of these, and I forgot just how good they are. Just a cheeky little 25-minute smoke, but a good one.
So which one's that one? The
Just the El Rey del Mundo.
was that the ones that we did?
Yeah, they're not infused.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the ones that were in the Cuban pack.
Yep.
Because everyone doing small sticks, so I thought, courtesy of Professor Damo.
Oh, hello. Small but top shelf.
Yes. It's fascinating. I was sitting down with a mate of mine, and they know of Cigar Professor. They smoke cigars. His father got him into cigars.
Hmm.
I was like, I was asking me how Cigar Professor works and blah blah.
Did you see that ring? My first ever ring.
Well done. I'll have to go back and watch it. Just at the 1 hour mark. Everybody, mark it. 1 hour into this episode, Damo blew his first wing.
And I buggered if I know what I did.
We got a ring,
I was
huh?
focusing on the smoke, not on the bloody blowing it. On the taste, rather.
You were saying, Omar?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, talking to this dude, he's into cigars. He smokes at least a cigar a day. That means you're a serious cigar smoker. And good idea about cigars. And it's like talking about firecrackers. I said Damon would have bought, so it was like 2 per customer. I don't know. The fucker bought like 25 or 30 or $100, and God knows how many bucks. And I said to him, if someone give me, a few $100 an hour, say, hey, you need to figure out cigars, and that's the job. I'm like, go fuck off. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Don't have the patience, attitude.
Yeah.
And yet, Professor Damo pulled these out.
Time and time again.
Yep.
I can't give away company secrets, but I can tell you that he had to go through some hoops to get to the point where we had access to some of the methods of supply. There are things that are available in the US that aren't available here, and Damo managed to. I guess it's the in real life version of a VPN on the internet. Use a VPN to make the internet think you're somewhere where you're not. Well, Damo's managed to do that in real life.
Just comparing the cellophanes from the two. The Nasty Fritas has got a little bit more yellowing to the cellophane than the Crazy Alice does.
Okay.
Which would make sense because this has been in my possession for longer.
Yeah,
Yep.
For sure.
I should probably bury some of these for about another 3 or 4 years.
And see what happens.
I'm getting down on them though. I've only probably got about 40 left.
Off.
Only.
Nasty Fritas.
The Nasty Fritas.
That's a lot of cigars, man.
Oh, look, when I restock, I'll take a few off your hands when I restock next.
Oh, that's not the business inventory. That's my personal.
Oh, that's your. Oh, right. Okay. Right. Gotcha.
Actually, we've had a bit of a run on these recently. I seriously think we're probably down to our last 2 or 3 of these in our inventory. Yep.
Good sticks.
Yeah, great sticks. Pretty good value too, if I remember rightly.
That vegetative note that we got in the final third, I can pick up hints of that now in this stick.
Okay.
Not as predominant though, but it's just there subtly.
Cool.
Excuse me. So Stuart asked this question earlier when I pull out the El Rey del Mundo. I don't remember the exact price on it, but they're pretty cost effective when you're getting 25, 30 minutes out of one of these and good quality. Like it's a good quality stick. My only word of caution on these is because they're a narrow ring gauge and they are Cuban, you will get some variability in the draw. But if you've got the perfect draw, you actually with this ring gauge, it's not so much the perfect draw, it's more massaging, finding that hard spot and just really kind of massaging it, softening it, warming it up. You can usually get them to come good.
From memory, there's a sweet cinnamon tasting note on those, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet cinnamon. Yeah, sweet cinnamon. Out of, I had 4 boxes from Damo, I think. And I think I would say at least half of them were challenging. But the ones that are challenging, it'll make it up for it.
How many of the ones that were challenging? Because you're right, you do get a lot. I don't think I got that high of a ratio, but you do get a fair few. I probably only had, and I've had quite a few of these now. I probably only had 1 or 2 that just became unsmokable. The rest, you could work your way through them. You could
You
massage
can work
it
it,
through,
of
and
course.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So Stuart's asking, is that what I got 3 of? I don't know. I don't know how well Damo remembers the orders off the top of his head.
Possibly. I think Daniel grabbed about 5 of them the other week off me.
They're a good stick just to have in the humidor. They're a cheapie as a giveaway. If someone comes over who's not a cigar smoker, doesn't really know, but they want to join in, they want to participate.
Yeah.
Then you can hand these over without feeling too bad about it. This one's a
Bit of
good
that
one.
charred note in there as well.
Yeah, I remember the Crazy Alice has that, but it's more of that barbecue charring.
Yeah.
Whereas the Nasty Fritas, whereas the Crazy Alice, it was a real like coal burnt bushfire type of note.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell you what, when you get a good one of these, and this is a good one,
It's amazing.
It really is a good stick. It's breathing slightly snug, but well within the range of, don't have to do anything, don't have to massage or anything. But boy, the flavors, the construction quality on this one, this specific stick,
amazing.
No tunnels, no nothing.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I think Cigar Man Sam said he's smoking the same one.
Only thing you got to be careful of is they drop their ash quite regularly.
Yeah.
Oh wow, a little bit of nuttiness coming in. That's a bit unusual, actually. For
it does have a little bit of nuttiness.
Yeah.
It gave you that light profile, like more of a Blanche almonds kind of thing. Like it's more cashew almondy without the skin. It's nuts without the skin.
It is at the buttery end of nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
I would almost say like a raw cashew.
Yeah.
When they're just soft, almost like you could almost squeeze them and just crush them in your fingers.
Yeah. Raw cashews.
I've got to put it down for a second. I'm over smoking it. Put it down. Let it cool.
Yeah, you gotta relax with them. Gotcha with it.
Narrow ring gauge. Always got to be mindful.
Little stick.
Little stick indeed.
Ooh, next week's stick. Ave Maria Immaculata Bellicoso, 6x54.
Well, we're getting into the big boys of the pack. We've done the memory lane thing in the first half of this pack, and the second half of this pack is just kind of bigger is better. That's the theme.
Well, that's that. I mean, it's a different stick to what we had, but it's still a sort of trip down memory lane.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But this is a big boy.
Yep. And we finish with a real big boy, the 6.5x54 on March 8.
Yep.
The Perdomo ESV in the Prestigio, Connecticut.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. What a stick.
Certainly a contender for my all-time favorite Perdomo, the ESV Connecticut. I mean, all the ESVs are good, but I do find the Perdomos just have a particularly good Connecticut. And the ESV, obviously, next level.
Little ring for a little stick.
Little ring for a little stick, exactly. I tell you what, though, this is This is smoking like a big stick. It's the flavors are actually, just a minute ago it was the sort of the soft, buttery nuts, and now it's really starting to come through with it's brought in leather, it's brought in some wood, and it's just everything's just stepped up to a really clear medium sort of profile out of a little tiny stick.
It's a good stick.
Mm.
So what's Cigar Man Sam smoking?
The same as Topher.
He grabbed an El Rey del Mundo as well. Yeah.
Same size, I wonder?
Yeah, same, exactly same stick.
Yeah. You remember way back in memory lane, Damo, when we got the El Rey del Mundos to start with?
Yeah.
And started opening up the boxes. Do you remember what we found? It was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Plume? That wasn't Plume?
Yes.
Actually, we were. Let me take you back a few weeks before. He originally bought the RJs, Limitadas, in the same size, same everything, and all of them had molds. So he returned it back and swapped them for Del Mundos.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
That was an adventure. We thought we were about to lose a big chunk of money there.
Yeah.
And that was why Damo then said, right, we're sending off a cigar to get tested, because we had just had this big showdown about with someone who should know better about whether it was mold or plume. Well, Damo won that one.
Interestingly enough, those results caused the Habanos distributors around the world to alter their humidity and temperature storage of what they were doing.
Well played. Well done.
Yep. So apparently the massive warehouse in Asia, they backed down from 70 or 72% back down to, I think they went down to 62, 63%.
Yeah. Well done.
When they get to the big players in the industry where they're storing warehouses full of cigars, they don't use Boveda packs for that. They actually have equipment that's akin to an air conditioner that circulates the air and regulates the temperature, and also has humidifiers built into it that basically pumps in the moisture. And also keeping the air cool pulls moisture back out. So they're always chasing their tail on the big systems. They're always punching moisture in continually.
Yeah. In a place in most parts of Asia, depending on exactly where the warehouse is, I don't know, but in most parts of Asia, you'd be trying to keep your humidity well below the atmospheric humidity outside. You'd just be sucking moisture out of it all day long.
Yeah.
I spent 7 years working in a refrigerated warehouse with all fruit and veg and milk and all that sort of stuff. And I remember on humid days down here in Melbourne, which we don't have a lot, but we get a few every year. There's a couple of, a summer storm comes through or something like that. And the warm, wet outside air would come through the truck bays. And they're trying to maintain the inside of the building at 4 degrees, which on those days it never was. It always climbed. But that warm, humid air would come in, hit the cold air, and the condensation would just hit the floor. And you would end up sometimes with visible like water droplets just all over the floor. And the forklift drivers had just fun, yes, but incredibly dangerous fun. And I was one of the forklift drivers for a few years there, where you're just dropping the biggest burnouts. You can't stop. Once you get some momentum with 1.5 tons of fresh produce up on the forks, plus a couple of ton of forklift itself. And what happens, because we had the milk as well, the milk gets spilt from time to time. Someone takes a corner too fast and the milk crates fall and it's just milk all over the floor. So you end up with this layer of fat. And yes, we're cleaning constantly. Like there's the machine sucking and scrubbing and blah, blah, blah. But it never gets 100% off. And so when this moisture just hits the floor, you've got this layer of fat just comes up out of the concrete. And you just it's just ridiculous. You might as well be skiing.
Yeah.
Great fun. But yes, trying to keep an entire warehouse regulated for humidity and temperature, basically impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes the ash again. So Stuart posted this up a couple of minutes ago, into the final third of his Crazy Alice. So he's gotten a lot of burn time out of the Crazy Alice. Hour 10, hour 5 at least.
That's a decent effort.
I'd say.
Mind you, on the fact that these particular cigars, you can put them down for 5 minutes and take a puff. If you timed it to 3 minute, 5 minute puffs, you could probably get a 2 hour run out of one of them, I reckon.
Eke it out. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, these will almost burn like a incense stick on their own, I reckon.
Those, yeah, they'll just sit there. Yeah. Tim says nobody told me I could be getting decent cigars for as little as $12. Might be time to kick this habit into high gear. Look, you can, but just remember what we said. You are going to cop some duds along the way. All right.
I think they're a bit more than that. A little bit more than that.
I think they're a bit more than that. I think 12 is a bit low. I don't remember them being that cheap.
I think they're about 18.
Yeah, that rings more of a bell.
Could be 16.
And also, I think that was before the last price hike in the tax as well.
Yeah, it was used to be 16. Now there would be 18. Yeah.
Something like that. Got some devastating news, boys. Something that I'm really struggling to come to terms with. It's something that I've been fighting for the better part of 10 years. And I'm afraid I've got to accept that I've lost the battle. And you see this thing over here, the tail end of it. It hasn't turned over in about 8 years, and it's been with me. We've moved multiple houses. It's come with me every time. It's been a part of my set now for years. No, Stuart, I'm not ready to do that yet. And I'm gonna be selling the motorbike.
Yeah, it is a bit of a girly bike.
I would love to see you try and handle 1.1 liters and 250 kilograms of motorbike. Your legs wouldn't even reach the ground.
I ride Harleys. That's what I always did.
Yeah, because they've got a really low saddle on them. Your feet can touch the ground.
Honda, whatever. Sounds like a screaming bitch or girl or whatever you want to call it.
That's really good. I really like Honda riders. Harley riders. I like waving at them as they're fixing their bike on the side of the road while I go past.
I don't know what you're talking about. You must be looking at BMW riders. I don't have to fix it. I have 5 over the period of years. Never had to fix one.
I went out on a group ride. There were 13 of us, 2 guys on Harleys. And I will admit, they could hustle those Harleys. I will admit,
they could. 2 night rods, and they're animals.
They were getting through the. I mean, they're pegs, but the foot. They weren't even pegs. They were big foot plates. They were scraping through the corners, but they had it all beautifully buttoned down, beautifully under control, and they were getting through the corners a lot quicker than I thought they would.
It's not easy to do corners on them. Not easy.
No. That's not what they're designed for. But these guys knew how to ride them. I kid you not. 13 bikes, 2 bikes broke down. It was both of the Harleys.
Happens sometime. It happens. Honda's broke down. I've seen Honda's broken down. Suzuki's broken down. I've seen most have broken down as Triumphs and BMWs. Hopefully David is not listening. He loves his BMWs, but
Triumphs, yes. BMWs, that's an interesting one. But Triumphs, yeah, they're known to be less reliable.
All police bikes used to be BMWs, didn't they?
Yeah.
Ages.
BMW do a very wide range of engines. So the police bikes had the horizontally opposed twin engine. They had the 2 heads sticking out the side of the bike. If my memory serves me correctly, they are a very reliable engine. And I think it was the inline 4s that BMW might have had a bit more trouble with, if my memory serves me correctly. But, what I've always appreciated about Harley is their honesty. you know, what their marketing tagline is? You know, Harley Davidson, yesterday's technology at tomorrow's prices.
Yeah. Obviously, you have issues reading as well. You must be reading about Hondas, and you forgot what you're reading. But I had 5 Harleys in total, and 2 of them were night rods.
Well, that's so that one of them is always working. That makes a lot of sense.
Never had 2, always kept 1. But night rod is a machine that anyone's into engineering. I asked them to watch the docu called Birth of the Night Rod. They spent 10 years R&D with Porsche, and that is a phenomenal bike. Phenomenal. Yeah.
So your next Harley is going to be the electric one?
Negative. Negative. I'm going to get Night Rod again, hopefully one day.
Okay.
Thanks, Stuart.
It's coming from a very low base, to be clear. Like he really couldn't have gone the other way. So there was only one way to go. You know?
Tim.
I will admit there is a part of me that is intrigued by electric motorbikes, not the pissy little ones, but like the proper high-powered electric motorbikes. Because for actual around town use, you don't need the top end because they don't have a lot of top speed. They're not 300 kilometer an hour bikes, right?
Exactly.
But they've got gobsmacking amounts of torque up to about 140, 150, which is all you ever really need in the real world.
That's all you need.
Not going to do track days on it, obviously.
You probably have to recharge it after a couple of laps around the track anyway, flooring it.
Yeah. If you're really going hard, you won't get much range.
Yeah. Look, I think with the cruisers, I've had Hondas as well. I had one Honda as well. I think obviously Harleys are much harder.
Sorry, pause. I have to respond to this comment. Tim, we're talking about motorbikes, not dildos, yeah? Right? And if we're talking about that, the Harley has a much similar vibration, right? I'm just saying, you know, I've heard a lot of girls like Harleys for that reason, you know?
Yeah, they do. Tell me about it.
Sorry, what were you saying, Omar?
I can tell you some stories about Harleys, but they're not really to be on the Cigar Professor. But yes, I see the fact that pound for pound, apple for apple, Hondas were easy to ride, much easier to ride, much easier to maintain. But there is
Hondas. They were the postie bike brand, wasn't it?
Hondas.
Yes, because they're reliable.
They're definitely reliable. Honda is probably out of Japanese. They're my favorite. Honda's my favorite out of all Japanese bikes. I think followed by Ducati in the Europeans. I love Ducatis. I think they are absolutely gorgeous machines. Never had a Ducati. Rode a Monster for a little bit, but they are beautiful machines. But
I'll tell you this. Sorry, hold that thought because I don't want to actually stop you from that thought. But I did numerous different track days, and there was one particularly memorable track day just after the 1198 came out, the Ducati. So the 1098 had been around for a while. The 1198 came out, and you know, there were guys. This is Phillip Island. There were guys screaming down the main straight on their R1s and GSX R1000s and whatever. No one cared. Like just we're all in the pitch just talking to each other. But what would happen is you could hear him getting on the power. There's a guy on an 1198.
Yeah, that's right.
The pits are at least a half a kilometer away from where you're getting on the power for the final corner coming onto the main straight at Phillip Island.
Yeah.
And you'd hear him as he picked up the throttle. And we would all go running to the pit wall.
Yes.
When I say all, like there was probably, I don't know, there was a couple of hundred people in the pit. There'd probably be 20 of us would all go running out to the pit wall. So that when this guy blasted past, doing the better part of 300 Ks an hour as he comes past the pits, you would feel.
Yeah, you feel that.
It's just incredible. Not even a Harley comes close because they don't rev high enough. This is this is a Harley sound, but it double the RPM, and it's just there's nothing else like it.
It makes you feel rattled.
Yeah,
it's a rattling sound.
Yeah. I can't imagine what it's like to be on board.
Yeah, it's a mate of mine rides it and it's full on. It's It's full on.
Well, I must admit, Saturday at the drag races at Eastern Creek, I was doing the flame effects along the start line out to about 50 metres past the start line. When the top fuel dragsters were warming up, we did a shoot of the flames and that all went well. But when both of them lined up and absolutely floored it, the sound pressure waves coming off those top fuelers, flat stick, was so much that it actually was blowing out the pilot lights on the gas equipment. So I was hitting the gas and all you were getting was plumes of unburnt gas shooting up and no flames because the pressure was blowing out the pilot lights.
Oh, shit.
That's intense.
Yeah,
insane. And I had earplugs in as well as earmuffs, and it was just
Well, at that point, the sound is just coming through your skull as pressure. Like,
pretty much.
It's not even your ears that are hearing it; it's your body that's feeling it. Now,
I don't know what the numbers were, but it's like must have been about 3,000 horsepower those things are putting out, and mate, see those guys rebuild the motor in an hour 40, hour 45 is just insane.
Yeah,
like they burnt through about 200 liters of nitromethane in under 3 seconds.
Crazy.
That's nuts.
To do a quarter of a mile.
And finish at 400 kilometers an hour. I mean, some perspective.
Yeah, well, actually, the top speed of the day was 500.85 kilometers an hour.
That's insane.
500.85. Wow.
Yeah. Now, speaking
it was like
of insane,
300 and something miles per hour.
Stuart got the better part of an hour and 20 minutes out of a Crazy Alice. That's insane.
Well, he was wild turkey. Just remembered that, so he's not constantly going.
Yeah, true. And he's had to keep on getting up off the ground when he comes back to consciousness.
Yes.
You know, and then see if it's still lit, and it is. So, you know,
the
most amazing thing besides the track.
It's been a while since I've done that.
Are we the Ash challenge today, boys, or?
I think you've kind of cheated by choosing the widest ring gauge of us all.
Yeah.
I want to get back to America at some point, and I'm blessed to have a wife that's also into motorsport, and so we've agreed that next time we get back to the US, we're going to spend some time in the South and do NASCAR, IndyCar, and monster trucks, and we might have to add some drag races as well.
Yep.
And
some of the teams that were competing at Eastern Creek were from the States.
Yeah. But just that whole American thing of you sit in the stand and you can see the entire track in your NASCAR type races.
Yeah.
You know, and I was cynical as most non-Americans are about, you know, they only turn left, sort of stuff. But once you actually start to understand the strategy, the lanes, as it were, on the track, the bump drafting and the various things that they're doing, it actually starts to get really tactically interesting. It's actually good racing, good to watch.
It will be good to watch if we go there.
Yeah, you got to pretend to be a hemorrhoid to ride the slipstream, so you can. It's got a few extra horsepowers to pull out and
correct.
overtake.
Well, then the guy behind actually uses that slipstream to get faster, and then just start pushing the car in front. That's literally like they're literally teaming up with their opponents, but temporarily teaming up to try and create a break on the cars behind them. It's just like it's crazy stuff. There was a move done recently. I can't think of the name of the driver. Chastain is his name. Tell you what, you've got a little while to go on your cigars. I'm going to try and find a video of this move. If you're not familiar with it, it's straight out of a video game. It's just incredible.
What was that? There was a movie about that with bloody Tom Hanks and Nicole Kidman, wasn't there?
maybe.
Where they fell in love before they got married, wasn't it, on that set?
Don't know.
Daytona? Does that ring a bell? Movie or something? Oh, well. Maybe one of the viewers will remember or know.
Now, let me just... I found the video. Let me just... Yeah. Okay. No, that's bad. That's a bad video. Sorry, I'm gonna have to find one where they haven't sort of tried to do like a celebrity reacts thing. It's actually just showing us the footage of what happened. Where are we at? Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the bit where it actually happens, where they show it. Yeah, okay. All right, so the context here, let me get it up on your screen. The context here is basically, this is one of the qualifying races where they have to finish above us, in the top 8 or whatever it is, in order to qualify to go through to the next round. And there we go. Ross Chastain had to make up 2 places in order to make it. Otherwise, he was out. Let me have a look, make sure that's working. All right. I'll turn the sound on and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. This is from the point of view of one of the cars that he overtakes, and then you'll see it from an external point of view. Can you hear that? Okay, so you see on the right there, this car just comes through, sweeps around like 3 other cars.
Oh, yeah.
Completely intentional. Straight out of a video game.
Yeah.
Watch him. Watch the right-hand side of the screen. There he is.
Wow. That's crazy.
Bit of panel damage there for the team to repair.
A bit of panel damage, but that's par for the course in NASCAR. Like, it's just...
Wow.
Like, I used to do that in Gran Turismo with damage turned off.
Yeah. Shit.
Dear. Good stuff. Americans are crazy.
Good stuff.
Days of Thunder was
to
the
do
movie
that.
you're trying to think of.
Days of Thunder.
That's the movie you were trying to think of, Damo.
That's the one.
Boys, I don't know what you guys smoked, but this is a good stick.
Yeah.
This is a very good stick.
Damo, you're having them back to back, Crazy Alice and Nasty Fritas. Was our initial reaction correct that the Nasty Fritas is the pick?
I think so. If you don't like the sweetened tip, definitely. If you don't mind a sweetened tip without... I'm still adamant there wasn't anything infused. I think it was just the blended tobacco and the particular sweetness sort of throwing off our senses on that.
Okay.
It is a little bit... the roughness that you picked up in the Crazy Alice, I'm definitely getting in this Nasty Fritas as well. So
okay.
So it's definitely there. So I think the blends are not too dissimilar. They definitely are different, but there's a lot of similarities in the flavors and the tasting notes. The vegetative note, the charred flavor, it's in there as well. The muskiness.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
It has become a little bit plugged on me. Not much. It's still smokable, but it's noticeable resistance as well. Whereas the Alice didn't do that to me.
You're still getting good smoke production on the draw, but not as much smoke when it's just sitting there as what we're used to from them.
Yeah.
Normally they're like a chimney, just as they sit in your fingers. It's just...
Yeah, there's a fair bit of smoke coming off. It's just hard to see.
Is there? Okay.
With this background, even my hand doesn't do it justice. But
doesn't do it justice. Yeah.
I wonder if... No, still can't see it.
Negative, can't see.
Get one of your smoke effects pyrotechnics out and impress us.
What's your update, Topher, when you move in?
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can see it now. Okay. Oh, there you go. Well, we're waiting on word back, but we think we've got a house. So
To rent first or buy first?
So it's the house that we were trying to buy, and it's the paperwork side of it's a little bit complicated because the contract that I've gotten that's basically allowing us to actually do what we're doing because it's a new startup. Banks don't like that.
Yeah.
So what we found out that we were working our way through it. We were figuring out how we were going to do it. And then the vendor of this particular house put it up for rent. They're obviously just trying to get someone in there. It wasn't selling, so they're just trying to get someone in there. So we've turned around and said, "Hey, how about we rent it off you until the paperwork sort of gets to the point where the banks will accept it, and then we'll buy it." So we'll see. We'll see if they come back and give us the nod on that.
Okay.
But if they do, then we'll basically we'll be looking to sign a lease ASAP, put in notice where we are, and yeah.
Have you considered vendor financing?
We haven't. I doubt they'd be too keen on that.
Okay.
Yeah. But look, I'm quite happy with the rent until we're ready to buy option. I've got no issue with that. So yeah, just sort of working through. Well, first we've got to get confirmation that they're happy to do it. We expect they will be because they put it up for rent. So why not? And no one else there's been a few other people that have applied to rent it, but none that have actually been there and inspected the property. And under New South Wales law, they can't rent a property to someone unless that person has actually done an inspection. So yeah, we're sort of in the box seat there because we've been through the house. And then so hopefully they just go, "Yep, fine, no worries. We're not bargaining on the price. We've just accepted the rental price that they've asked for." And said, "Yep, we'll pay that. Just let us move. Let us get up there." It's got a really good 3-car garage under the house. The soundproofing in the house isn't amazing, and obviously, from my point of view, building the studio, I need it to be really quiet. So I'm putting together a plan to actually build inside the garage, take up 2 of the car parking spots with basically a room inside a room. And then that'll have my studio inside it. It'll be heavily soundproofed and all the rest of it. So no matter what's in the house, kids can be playing or whatever else, upstairs or in the yard, and I can still record.
And how would you work with the aircon aspect in the soundproofing?
Yeah, that's a unsolved question at this moment in time. I'm aware of the problem. It may, in the first instance, be a case of a pedestal fan that just blows air out the door while I'm not recording, and then turn it off, close the door, and sit down and record, and just deal with the heat. Because there's a lot of equipment inside a studio. There's a lot of cameras, a lot of computers, a lot of stuff generating heat. So yeah, that's part of what I'm working through is figuring out how do you do that in a way that doesn't just leave great big holes in the wall that mean that you've compromised your soundproofing.
That's a compromise that comes with it.
Yeah. So I mean, a split system would be the best option, but then where do you put the compressor side of the split system? If it's just a freestanding box inside a garage, where do you run the pipes? Do you just put that in the garage and now you're expelling your hot air into the garage? Maybe that's what you do.
Well, you'd run the pipes as you would normally through, but I mean the opening for split systems is quite small for just the.
That's not
pipe.
the issue. It's then if we want to put that compressor box outside, we can't drill or cut holes or anything in the house because we're only renting. So how do you then get that split system to be venting outside?
You might be able to negotiate that in the terms of on the basis that you're planning to buy.
Possibly.
If they agree to sell, and it's just a condition that you just say, well, look, are we allowed to do some renovations to the property, like installing air conditioning and?
Yeah, well, the air conditioning unit itself would be fine because that's built into the box that we're building inside the garage, and that's non-destructive. That can be removed, and all trace of it can be removed out of the house. That's fine. But running the pipes,
is it brick?
Sorry,
is it brick?
The house is brick, yeah, double brick.
You'd only need to knock out, if you could probably carefully remove one brick and then replace the brick if you had to.
Look, probably the simpler option, as I think about it, would be there's 3 separate roller doors. And so if we actually just raised a roller door that much and then unplugged it so it couldn't be raised any further, you could just run the pipes under that and have the compressor unit sitting just outside there. Something like that may end up being the best way to go.
Or there's a more sort of solution towards reducing the heat. If you change your equipment from PC to Apple, it won't be as hot. It won't catch fire. It won't burn. And
last time I checked, as good as you might think the iPhone camera is, it's not a studio quality camera.
No, I'm talking about your PCs and your equipment to Mac.
Yeah, so all the hard drives and so forth will be out in another room. It's the camera equipment, the mixing equipment, the teleprompter, all that stuff. All generates heat.
Yeah, as long as there's no PC there, it can burn.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we're thinking through the heat issue, but I'm being supplied with budget. It's not like professional studio budget. Otherwise, we'd be getting a commercial building and doing it that way. But it's enough to be able to solve these sorts of problems. So yeah,
there's a really quick fix as well. If you have a portable aircon and you pump it up a little bit and then close the door, and it will stay cool for at least half an hour to an hour without you compromise a lot.
Yeah, correct. So something like that, a portable aircon, run the pipe out to the outside and then just turn it off and close the door when we're ready to record like that. That's definitely an option.
And they're super cheap. You pick them up.
I wouldn't go with the portable aircons, to be honest.
No?
The cooling efficiency is not that great on a lot of them.
Okay.
Having come from rental properties, we had portable aircons only to survive.
Yeah.
And the performance for the amount of energy they use is woeful.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too that they never get anywhere near as cold as a split system.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's not a big room. A relatively modest split system installed might be $2,500, which is a lot of money. But again, this is budget that's been supplied to me to solve all of these exact problems. So that sort of a solution is definitely on the table.
Yep. It will work out in the end.
Yeah. So Stuart, we're going to be doing a staggered stud wall with a particular type of plaster on the outside. That's actually 2 layers of plaster with a gel down the middle that takes quite a lot of the energy out of the noise and doesn't directly transfer vibration into the wall. Then with a staggered stud wall, the studs touching the plaster on one side are not touching the plaster on the other, which then adds another layer of separation for vibration. And then obviously you stuff the wall full of sound deadening. And then if that proves to not be enough, there's weighted vinyl products that we could then literally clad the room in that on the outside.
Do they still use acoustic foam on the inside of studios?
Yeah. So you've got 2 noise issues that you've got to deal with kind of separately. One is the noise intrusion from the outside, and then the other is actually the noise reflection on the inside. So having acoustic panels and just breaking up the shape of the room, not just having it be on the inside, just a box, so that the sound doesn't resonate and bounce around as much. That's a not terribly difficult problem to solve. I'm going to be building a set into the back, and obviously I'll be considering acoustics in that and making sure that I'm using materials that aren't too reflective. But then off camera on the other side, you can just bring in portable, those room dividers that schools and offices used to have. They were sort of soft, and you bring in a few of those, and even if they don't deaden, even if they don't absorb a lot of sound, they break up the sound reflection. And it just improves the room a lot. So,
what about the ventilation for all the cigar smoke?
Well, this is one of the interesting things I'm thinking about, because we're building a room within a room. Maybe I can smoke in there.
Yeah,
maybe I can actually do my cigars in there, because it's not actually going to be affecting the garage itself. So could I do Cigar Professor from in there? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the stuff that's specifically designed for acoustic purposes is 34 millimeters thick, and it's 2 layers of plaster with an acoustic gel in between. So it's a product that's specifically made for the purpose, and it does a pretty good job.
I'm done.
All done.
Getting hot. Yep.
I've got a little bit to go.
A little bit, yeah. So
Mind
yeah,
you,
I've got my work cut out for me over the next 2 months. That is for sure. The hope is to start our first broadcast in April. That's the aim.
Nice.
All going well. Stuart, if you want to join the team, there's Daniel has been who's obviously he's not. Oh, he was with us earlier tonight, but he does walls and plastering and painting and all that sort of stuff. And I've got a builder mate down here in Melbourne who's the one who's helping me think through all the different stuff. But hey, let's put together a team of people and get it built. Should be a fun day.
Toph, I got 2 questions for you. Maybe we can talk to you about after the show, but they're like 10-second questions.
Yeah, sure. Yes, that was Edwina poking her head in. Yeah, we've got a team.
That's good.
Together for it. So, Tim, right back at you. See you later.
See you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
All right. Well, given there's only one of us left smoking, we might call it a night there. What do you reckon, boys?
That's it.
Omar's always smoking regardless.
That's right. He's already got his next one lined up, ready to go.
He has.
Yeah. All right. Well, all the best. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week for an absolute beast of a cigar.
I know.
Look forward to it.